Well, much as we take a look at security issues, but there are also attendant issues that need to be attended to as a result of that. Well, we have Angele Dikongue Atangana, the UNHCR representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS. She joins us from Abuja. Good morning and thank you for joining us today. Well, about the humanitarian issues that we do have in the country, I know that you've been to some of these areas. First of all, how does UNHCR approach these issues?
Good morning, and thank you for your interest in my work. The way we approach the issues, I should like to go back to a little bit of history. I arrived in this country in 2012 when there was a major flood going on, and the insurgency issue has also been ongoing since 2009, causing a lot of casualties, a lot of displacement, a lot of maiming in the society. And so our expertise is with regard to forced displacement. So my first task here was to beef up the capacity of my office in order to take care of the internal displacement, which is not necessarily our mandate, but for which we have expertise. So I have spread out offices in the Northeast, 6 in addition to the 2 that I used to have. And now I have about 70 staff members working especially in the Northeast to attend to the needs of displaced persons. Our expertise is with protection, and protection, you could say, virtually encompasses everything. Protection is about ensuring that the basic human rights of the people who are displaced are upheld. It starts from the right to life, then the right to basic needs, right to education, and so on and so forth. So we have been engaging with the internal displacement since 2012, including through building capacity of the stakeholders, national and humanitarian stakeholders across the board.
Let's take a look at some of the places that you've toured and visited. One of them was the Agatu scenario. What did you find when you went there?
What I found was a terrifying situation. I must confess that I have a small office in Makurdi, and so I have been receiving repeated reports about the events in Agatu, including the killings of civilians, even children, the sacking of the razing down houses. And when I went myself, really the situation I found is a situation of a place which is under siege, literally. We traveled from Otukpo, we crossed the whole land of Agatu for more than 2 hours. The scene was really a scene of desolation, desperation. It was really devastated. Not so many houses were standing. All houses were burned down, including churches, police stations, schools, and you name them. And really, the people were in such a state of grief that you would wonder, even if they were still having some hope in the life they were into. And so my first take was that they complained that they have not been seeing the authorities or hearing the authorities. So this is one message I brought, that probably that the stakeholders were not aware of the level of gravity of the situation. Now really I want to say it that the situation there is one that deserves attention. I am aware that some attention has been devolved there. Some assistance in terms of military security assistance has been sent there. But I think the situation warrants even much more attention in terms of restoring the security and rebuilding the life of the people. The land is completely devastated. I believe that in as so much as we need to rebuild the northeast because of what is ongoing there. In fact, in actual fact, the stakeholders believe that what is ongoing in Benue State as a whole, because it is not unfortunately limited to Agatu, is actually also linked to what is going on in the northeast. So definitely the reconstruction needs are also appalling there and really deserve immediate attention, lest the country could really see some other situation developing.
Okay, it is interesting to note that the UNHCR also looks after internally displaced persons. But usually, what would you say is the biggest challenge of internally displaced persons when they become displaced?
Thank you for that. The biggest challenge is about security, because when you go to them, what they tell you first is that we want to go back to our place. And to go back to their place, it should mean that security would have to be restored, which is not the case for the time being. And definitely it is a situation whereby they are in need of virtually everything, including the basic needs. They are in need of cooking utensils, they are in need of clothing, they are in need of food, they are in need of clean water. It is really appalling. And so UNHCR, when we went to Agatu some 2 weeks ago, we brought along some non-food items, including mattresses, solar lamps, and all sort of basic needs to fulfill their needs, basically.
You know,
It failed.
Some of those
Can you call her?
I think you can go ahead.
yeah. I think well, once we get her back, I wanted her to look, because now the refugee, the displaced persons population has far outnumbered the refugees in the world. So we're talking about internal displaced persons. Yes, that's quite huge. And UNHCR, which we also know that they don't have provision for the displaced persons, they don't have protection under the treaties, international treaties. So how have they, well, good to have you back. Well, we understand you can get to hear us now. We were talking about the displaced persons, the population of displaced persons, which today has far outnumbered the refugees across the world. And if you look at it, they still don't have protection when it comes to international treaties. What is the UNHCR doing about having some of this protection enshrined in such laws to give them some form of legal protection?
Thank you for that. First of all, there is what we call the guiding principles on internal displacement that have existed, even though not as a binding instrument, which somewhat guided the respective states in terms of the intervention in regard to internally displaced persons.